This year, 1996, the sport of figure skating celebrates the centennial of the first World Championship. It was an event held on a small pond in the heart of St. Petersburg, Russia. Over these 100 years, the sport's greatest names have competed at this historic site. Tonight, we gather in a city filled with artistic and architectural splendor. We gather to commemorate that first World Championship. From the United States, current national champion Michelle Kwan and former national champion Nicole Bobek are both here. They meet in the ladies' short program this evening. The pairs championship will be decided tonight. Artur Dmitriev with his new partner, Oksana Kazakova. Ingo Stoyer and Mandy Wurtzel were in first place after the short program. Kyoko Ina and Jason Dungeon lead the American contingent. They've all come to the banks of the Neva River on the Gulf of Finland. They have come to the glorious city of St. Petersburg, Russia. They have come for the Centennial on Ice, brought to you by the Johnson & Johnson family of companies. For the second in as many nights and the second of our 4 days of same-day coverage on TBS, we come to you from the Sports and Concert Complex. It's a multi-purpose facility about a half an hour's drive from the heart of St. Petersburg, Russia. Good evening once again, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist. Welcome to Russia. Welcome to our same-day coverage of Centennial on Ice. And a fascinating night for you this evening. We've got the ladies' short program. That means a head-to-head battle against Michelle Kwan and Nicole Bobek of the United States. And will determine a pairs champion. We had some interesting things happen yesterday and today. You might have been with us last night when Rudy Galindo, the men's champion, competed here in the short program, then was forced to withdraw because of a rather severe ankle injury. Well, Ingo Stoyer and Mandy Wurtzel of Germany had the lead after the pairs short program. And this afternoon, they had to withdraw. I'm joined by Peter Carruthers, who won a silver medal in pairs in 1984. Tough deal for Stoyer and Wurtzel.
Oh, it's so disappointing to hear that they have had to withdraw. But during the short program, Ingo Stoyer really had a bad back injury. It happened on this particular element, the split double twist lift. Everything looks fine right here. However, it was on that lift that he experienced tremendous pain. Now, upon closer investigation, you actually can see in his face just when he felt it. Everything's fine. However, at the release, trying to catch her, look at his face right there. Again, we didn't know that there was a problem after the competition, but this afternoon in practice, it was very evident that there was a problem. The side-by-side jumps, well, no problem, but a basic lift like this told the story. He couldn't lift her. So they will not be competing in the competition, but on a positive note, I can't wait to see what's going to happen to Kazakova and Dmitriev. They're really exceptional, and once again, they're coached by Tamara Mostvina. Good things, Vern.
Okay, Peter, the pairs championship will be determined tonight, and a little later in the evening, we'll have the ladies' short program. As we said, Michelle Kwan going head-to-head against Nicole Bobek. Darren Kagan is with Nicole.
Thanks, Vern. Skating fans did indeed have a chance to see Nicole Bobek at Nationals, but because of a bad ankle, she had to pull out after the short program. Nicole, going into this performance, how can you tell us how your ankle's feeling?
It's still a little bit sore. I have new boots, and we're having a little problem with them, so my balance is a little bit off, but we're trying to basically live through it and try to get through the program, basically.
So is the problem more the boots or the ankle?
A little bit of the boots, actually. It's all right.
You'll just deal with it right now. Right now, would you say you're 100%, or what percentage would you say you are?
Mentally, I think 100%. Physically, I'm a little 60%, but I think I'll be able to do all right tonight.
Also at Nationals, that was billed as a big showdown between you and Michelle Kwan, and that didn't turn out to be that way, so that's kind of turned into this competition. Do you see this as a showdown, and how do you size up Michelle and the rest of the competition?
At this point, I really don't care, you know, how they do. I really just care about me getting through the program and doing well and skating good for myself, basically. Just to get through it.
Okay, Nicole, good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you, Darren, and we begin the evening at the Sports and Concert Complex with the pairs free skate. And on the ice, representing the United States in their first international event, the recent pairing of Shelby Lyons and Brian Wells. She is 14, he 25, and they recently finished third in the United States Nationals in San Jose.
And they had an exceptional performance at those national championships. Getting off some very difficult side-by-side triple loops in the beginning of the program.
Music from the movie A Fish Called Wanda. Tiny 4-foot 10-inch Shelby Lyons and Brian Wells are partners.
Let's see if they can recreate some of the magic they had at nationals with these. Oh, almost, Shelby. Hanging on, though. Split triple twist, but very unfortunate. She did not get the height she needed to make the rotation, therefore colliding into him and knocking him over. Too bad. But does that tell you something about how composed this young lady is?
Well, theirs is really a wonderful story, Peter. He had competed for a long time with Laura Murphy. When they split, he started a cross-country trek looking for a new partner. He found Shelby Lyons in Oswego, New York, where she lived, of course, with her mom and dad. And Brian Wells had to convince mom and dad that the two of them ought to begin skating together. The parents finally agreed, and they now live and train in Colorado Springs.
Throw triple loop. Good for her. She's getting it back. That's the sign of a champion, to be able to have a mistake like that in the beginning of the program and then go on to do great elements as the one we just saw. Right on. Trouble with the lift. The side-by-side jumps are incredible for these two.
Shelby Lyons, Brian Wells, their first appearance before an international panel of judges, and they come to St. Petersburg as the bronze medalist in the United States. Back with their scores in a moment.
Side-by-side jumps. Think of it, 2 sets of side-by-side triples here, the triple sow cows. Terrific. And how about a positive reaction from Coach Irina Vorbieva?
Now, the first set of scores, these are for technical merit for Lyons and Wells.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time we've seen all of the marks the same, right across the board, all 4-8s. Not what they wanted, of course. Little Shelby a little disappointed.
And the second set.
4-8 to 4-9. She's got a lot of years ahead of her.
Next on the ice, the silver medalist. The many outstanding Russian pair skaters. This is Elena Bereznaya, who suffered a very serious head injury in an accident with her partner Oleg Shliakov in Riga, Latvia, just about a month ago, but making a good and quick recovery. She, of course, is part of the Russian contribution to the history of pair skating, and in truth, no country has given more to the rich tradition and legacy of pairs than has Russia. Peter Carruthers has more.
The sudden and tragic death of Sergei Grinkov left all of Russia and the world in shock. Death at an early age is hard to comprehend, but an athlete dying young is even harder. His widow, Katya Gordieva, was left with only memories. She could remember Calgary in 1988. And an historic gold medal return in 1994. The most beloved of all Russian pairs were at the crest of a legacy in Russian figure skating. The old Soviet anthem had been played 10 times in world competition for Irina Rodnina and 3 times at the Olympics, each time more emotional than the next. The earlier Protopopov dynasty had been only the beginning for Soviet pairs' success. The Soviet dominance in pairs competition was unequaled. With the demise of communism, dramatic changes swept the nation and the sport of figure skating. In 1992, when Mishkitunik and Dmitriev were awarded their pairs' Olympic gold medal, the Olympic anthem had replaced the Soviet anthem. In world and Olympic dance competitions, the Russians were every bit as dominant as the pairs. So when reasons are given for Russian dominance, it has to be the ballet. With the rise of the Kirov ensemble during the early 1900s, Russian coaches and skaters grasped the inherent strengths of ballet training, especially in pairs figure skating.
Former Soviet pairs and now Russian pairs have always been intense to get their gold medals, Olympic or World or Europeans. It didn't matter at all. But they always wanted to be the best because it's always been like that. If you're Russian or Soviet, you have to be the best. You must be the best because you're the best.
First of all, we have qualified coaches. Then we have a tradition of people being in a collective society. So the people are together, 2 people together or a group, they deal with each other easier than maybe in the West, I don't know. And then the financial conditions to put people together are easier here than in the West, because financially families are more or less equal.
I don't know why, for sure, but I think it's just tradition, because we don't have a lot of different schools for pair skating. We have just one very good school here in St. Petersburg. But I think it's tradition and a lot of good coaches who long time live on top level in pair skating, and they know what we need.
The reasons are many, but the heart of Russian pair skating lies in the subtlety of ballet, the tradition of the past, and the coaching for the future. Pairs is an art form in Russia, and nothing will ever change that fact. Toe loops. She really has a problem here. You can see her lean, drop the right side, going down. But the split triple twist lift, good height, good catch. No problem there, but the program itself just did not excite me. Marks.
Technical merit marks, first of all.
5'3" up to 5'6". I think they really need to get some more exciting music.
And the second set of marks.
Oh, these are a lot better. 5'4" up to 5'7". But you've got to really put it all together, hitting the elements without mistakes.
And on the ice right now from St. Petersburg, as have been so many other pairs, the lovely couple of Yevgeny Shishkova and Vadim Naumov. 1994 world champions. They won that event in Chiba, Japan. And they skate before the home crowd. Music of Minkus, Don Quixote.
Look for great extensions in their legs right there. And now the throw triple Salchow. Well done. Side-by-side triple toe loops. Just pulling it off. Split triple twist lift. Side-by-side double axles, a turnout on the landing for her. Judges looking for a good extension on the landing with a stretched out free leg.
And of course, every little bobble creates the potential for Dmitriev and Kosakova. And a reminder, if you did join us late, that the #1 team after the short program, Ingo Steuer and Mandy Wurzel from Germany, had to withdraw because of his back injury.
Watch this lift here, how he flips her right up in a somersault. Very original. Triple toe loop. She'll rotate 3 times tilted, but she pulled it off. Great strength. A little bit of experience there to know where you are in the air to straighten it up to land the jump so well. Oh! not completing the rotation on that double axle, so the blade just coming to a stop on the landing.
Battle now with Dmitriev and Kozakova. Most recent possible head-to-head. They did not get together at the European Championships. Shishkova and Namu pulled out of that because of the flu.
Well, some strange things happened in that program that fall in the middle of the program that she had on the double axle, where she didn't get around. Unusual. Right before it, a beautiful throw, triple toe loop.
Yevgeny Shishkova, Vadim Naumov. Longtime partners. They became husband and wife last summer. And again, that's a modest amount of applause from this crowd in St. Petersburg.
Yes, the reaction very quiet at best. Some flowers down on the ice, but one of the things they did so well in the program was this lift right here. He picks her up, and she actually does a somersault. This is difficult because he has to press her up right there without really any assistance from his legs, so that shows the great strength that this pair has. Now, this is strange. She won't get around on the double axle, so literally the blade will stop. Boom. Right down she goes.
And now the wait for the scores. First set of scores, these for technical merit.
All very close together, 5-5 up to 5-7, but again, these would have been a little bit higher had she landed that double axle in the program. I imagine the next marks will be a little higher. The presentation marks, they are, but I'll tell you, the door is open for the next two.
Artur Dmitriev, Oksana Kozakova coming up next. Artur Dmitriev has had a history of back problems. He's getting a last-minute rub down before he and his new partner take to the ice. The champions of the Centennial on Ice pairs results, Shishkova and Naumov from St. Petersburg, Yeltsova and Bushkov finished second, and Kyoko Ina and Jason Dungeon, the United States silver medalists, wind up third. There were 3 withdrawals in all, and the young team of Shelby Lyons and Brian Wells of the United States wind up in 5th place. And right now, Artur Dmitriev and his coach, Tamara Moskvina, have been kind enough to join Darren Kagan. Darren?
Thank you, Vern. Artur, it was so unfortunate that you had to drop out of the competition in front of the hometown crowd.
I'm very sorry about this because I very want to skate here in my city. A lot of my friends here, and you know.
Can you explain what is wrong with your back and when the trouble started?
Is not today. We didn't skate 4 days before the competition because I have a back problem, and then we have one practice, then day off, and then competition. Is not enough for condition, and I can skate original program short, but I feeling not very good. But today in the morning practice, I feeling, pain, but maybe I have a mistake because I didn't make injection, maybe, but I think it's gonna be good, but it's not.
So, but you're hopeful. Tomorrow, how will they now prepare for Worlds, our tour in Oksana?
First, we need to have medicine or special preparation that he will be cured. And then we decide how much time we have and what we can do before the Worlds.
But are you hopeful for the Worlds?
Well, I am always hopeful, but we'll see what comes out of it.
Okay. Tomorrow on our tour, thank you very much, and good luck in your recovery.
When we return to St. Petersburg with Centennial on Ice, the ladies' short program featuring Michelle Kwan and Nicole Bobek. As we go to break, enjoy these scenes in one of the hundreds of parks in central St. Petersburg. Welcome back to the Sports and Concert Complex in St. Petersburg, Russia, and welcome back to our same-day coverage of Centennial on Ice. Vern Lundquist along with Peter Carruthers. Ready now, Peter, for what promises to be a very exciting ladies' event.
Well, I think the ladies' event is definitely going to be dramatic, to say the least. Michelle Kwan is just so consistent. She's got it all together. She's got the artistry, and I think she's going to hit her combination in the short program. Now, going over to the other U.S. entrant, that's Nicole Bobek. Watch for that combination. When she has to do those double jumps, it's going to be interesting to see if she can hang in there. Now, someone to really take a look at is the European champion, Irina Slutskaya. She's new to the scene, but I really think that she has a lot to offer. She has jumps, and the European judges know her, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with Slutskaya.
Well, we have been joined by Darren Kagan, who's not only been spending time with us, but she's been spending time with both Nicole Bobek and Michelle Kwan. Let's check in with her now.
Vern, both Nicole Bobek and Michelle Kwan apparently have some obstacles to overcome tonight. Nicole told me that her new boots are actually causing her more trouble than her sore ankle. One boot apparently is higher than the other, and that's causing some troubles with balance. Meanwhile, Michelle Kwan's coach just confirmed a few minutes ago that Michelle has a bit of a cold. In fact, if you listen to her warm up here, you could hear a significant cough. But as the coach said, no excuses. Both of these young women intend to go out there and give it their all tonight.
Okay, thank you, Darren. The ladies' required elements, and there are 8 of them, include a double axel, a double jump or triple jump, a jump combination, a flying spin, a layback or sideways leaning spin, a spin combination, and finally 2 step sequences. And on the ice here in St. Petersburg. We'll be back in just a moment. Our same-day coverage of the Centennial on Ice. We come to you tonight from the Sports and Concert Complex, maybe a half an hour from downtown St. Petersburg. And on the ice right now, one-time Russian national champion, recently 3rd at the European Champions in Sofia, Bulgaria. Here's Maria Butirskaya.
Certainly lending a mature side of skating to the sport. And if she hits the jumps in this short program, it is going to be something else. A very tough combination right here, the triple Lutz double toe. Wow. Very confident and sure. Footwork skating into a jump that'll take off backwards, a triple loop. Oh, that was fantastic. Double axel.
She's having a good skate beat.
Hitting those required elements. That's what the short program's all about.
Funny, I can remember seeing her for the first time in Victoria, British Columbia, of all places, in 1992 at Skate Canada. She came out of nowhere and won it, and we all thought she was going to have a terrific career. It has thus far been unfulfilled.
Yes.
Well.
I was entertained. That was a good program.
23 years of age, from Moscow. She bears a certain physical resemblance to a singer who's spending some time in Argentina these days, right?
She really was so sure on that first combination, getting that tough jump out of the way like that, and then just kind of slipping into a rhythm throughout the performance. That's very nice to be able to do that in a short program. This triple Lutz, perfect landing, and then right up into the double toe loop. That had to help, setting her up for things like this, the triple loop. Beautiful rotation in the air, and a lovely back on the landing, straight up and down.
I mentioned her accomplishments when she won the Russian Nationals in '92. And the first set of scores.
Solid 5-7s, 1-5-6. No doubt in the judge's mind that she is in good shape for this competition.
And the second set, these for presentation.
Oh, look at that. Those go up. Very nice.
There's the smile. Maria Butirskaya, who was third at the Goodwill Games here in St. Petersburg back in 1994. Well, she finished third, Maria did. And this young woman finished first at the recent European Championships held in Sofia, Bulgaria. She was seventh in the world in 1995, Irina Slutskaya. And like Butirskaya, she comes from Moscow. And really someone to keep your eye on.
Boy, she is just one dynamo with the jumps that she will attempt in this program. Still very young, though. It'll be interesting to see how she handles the pressure. Triple Lutz. Pretty good. Triple loop, no problem. Jump for jump, she's done exactly what Butirskaya has done so far in the program. For her.
She's a tiny mite, Irina Slutskaya, 5'1", less than 90 pounds. And though only 16, already a world traveler, she's going back for her second appearance in the Worlds in Edmonton. Twice she has competed in the United States and Skate America competitions. Well, how about that back-to-back, the young women of Moscow before a crowd in St. Petersburg with clean performances. First, Maria Butirskaya, and now Irina Slutskaya, the current European champion. That's going to put a little pressure on the American contingent. Michelle Kwan, Nicole Bobek, and Surya Bonaly from France is also yet to skate.
Investment advice.
Lutz, the first combination in her program, 3 times around. No problem on that landing. A nice double right after that. Solid.
And the first set of marks for Irina Slutskaya, ranging from 5'8" down to a 5'6".
These are all strong. Really puts her in a good position.
And the second set of marks for Irina Slutskaya.
Oh, this is incredible. Very nice marks. 5.6 up to 5.8. How about that?
So the current standings have Slutskaya on top. She got the ordinal vote of 4 of the 7 judges. Butirskaya is second, followed by Anna Reknio of Poland. Tanya Kwiatkowski is currently 4th, and Lenka Kulovana is in 5th position. Well, we are inside the Sports and Concert Complex here in St. Petersburg. Outside, it's just a wee bit chilly here in mid-February. Here's more from Darren Kagan.
People in the United States have talked about how this is one of the coldest winters they can remember. Well, that is nothing compared to here in St. Petersburg. In fact, I am standing on the frozen Neva River. Happens every year. The river just freezes over. People here in St. Petersburg just have a way of dealing with the cold.
It's difficult, of course, but it's our life. We haven't problem with the winter.
We've shown you some really cold things, but nothing made us feel colder than some people's idea of a good time on a sub-zero afternoon.
The Centennial on Ice from St. Petersburg is brought to you by Johnson & Johnson Family of Companies. Vern Lundquist, Peter Carruthers, we come to you from the Sports and Concert Complex in the outskirts of St. Petersburg. And on the ice warming up right now, the second group of ladies who are competing in the short program, headed by U.S. national champion Michelle Kwan.
Oh, Vern, what a sensational year she has had. She's won every international competition just with jumps like that. I mean, she's just so solid. She has the mechanics down that she needs to do these jumps. She's confident because she's trained. Everything is working for her.
And, of course, she goes into the Worlds. This really is, Peter, a bit of a preview of the World Championships with the quality of the women that we've got competing here.
That's what's been so fun about this competition, watching what we may see happen in just a few weeks here. And I really do think it's a great warm-up for these skaters. They're being exposed to all the international judges. If something's wrong, let's say, before the World Championships, they may go back to the drawing board and change that before they go off.
Well, Michelle Kwan will be there as the national champion, but Nicole Bobek, who stood on the podium at the Worlds last year, will not be going because of very controversial ruling by the United States Figure Skating Association. She withdrew with an injury after the short program in San Jose. So she said, Peter, this is her world.
It really is. It's not the same story for Nicole, but there's something about Nicole that's always been very interesting to me, and that is that deep down inside that young lady, she's got a lot of heart, and you can never really count her out. Her practices here in St. Petersburg really haven't been that favorable, but as I say, it's unpredictable with her. I don't know what she'll do with the jumps, but she's got a lot of spirit, and she's very competitive.
Well, that'll give her a little encouragement with that jump as she gets ready to compete. But when we come back, Michelle Kwan will be on the ice. Centennial on ice. On your right, Frank Carroll, the highly respected coach of Michelle Kwan, the current national champion. Room at the top, first place currently held by Irina Slutskaya, Maria Buterskaya, both Russians, are in first and second place. And now at the age of 15, she comes to Russia for the first time as the national champion, Michelle Kwan. Shocking, isn't it?
Very much so.
Even though she's only 15, she has accomplished so much, you tend to think she puts it on automatic. And there is a reminder that it's anything but.
Oh, even there. Not stable on the landing of that double axel. She's a little shaken up by that fall.
It's not just the national championship. Michelle has had a terrific fall season. She comes in on the strength of 4 victories in a row. And that miscombination could prove very costly. That's more like it.
Very tentative on this spin. I think she's surprised. Coach Frank Carroll saying just coming off of a tour for her, maybe she didn't get the practice time she needed right before this event.
Well, in that crowd, as part of the American contingent, her mom and dad, Danny and Estelle Kwan, made the long trip over here from Southern California. Nicole Bobeck is next to skate, and she'll step on the ice while we wait for the marks for Michelle Kwan. Let's go back and take a look at that missed combination, Peter.
Well, this is strange for her. The triple Lutz, a good takeoff, but then her arms got up a little too high around her shoulders, throwing her off balance. And then she's not over the fall yet, because look at the landing. You'll see the snow fly up and her body jerk forward. That's not like her to do that.
Frank Carroll with his role as a tissue supplier right now.
But as I was saying, that she came off of a tour right before this, which may have cut in on the practice time that she needed to prepare for this. Not to say that she wasn't in shape, but, you know, you've got to really stay with the practice 3 or 4 hours a day. I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
Well, the technical mark is going to be quite low, I'm sure. Even considering her stature as the national champion of the... look at this, required elements.
Yes, 4.9 up to 5.5. This is a direct result of the mistakes that were very obvious.
And the second set of marks for presentation.
See, now that's where we would have seen them more up around the 5.7, 5.8 area had we not had the mistakes.
So for Michelle Kwan, a very, very disappointing short program reflected in her face and in that of her coach, Frank Carroll. That puts Michelle in 3rd place behind the 2 young women from Russia, Slutskaya and Butirskaya. Bobek, who stood on the podium at the World Championships a year ago, but who did not complete her defense of her national title in San Jose because of an injury, is now on the ice with her short program.
And how will she treat the energy that's in this building right now? She's aware of what has happened to Michelle Kwan. How will she deal with it?
I think it should be pointed out, as you said, though, Peter, she's not had a good couple of days of practice.
Oh my goodness. That's really too bad to go down twice like that in the short program.
It has not been a banner night for the young ladies of America. Michelle Kwan, I think safe to say, heavily favored in this event. And Tanya Kwiatkowski missed her combination. And now Nicole Bobek's problems have been manifested. Gather it back together now and finish with a flourish. Try to salvage something out of this.
Last jump, the double axel. And even missing that, we're looking at tremendous deductions here in this program. Very unfortunate.
Well, somehow she manages a bit of a smile, Nicole Bobek. This is a long, long way to travel for the disappointment of these short programs for Nicole and Michelle Kwan and Tanya Kwiatkowski.
Well, really, it has come down to this with Nicole Bobek. She is going to have to really reevaluate where she is in her career. You can see right now that the triple flip goes up, and she really dropped her right side without a chance to land that. And then here on the triple toe loop, again, losing her balance, the left shoulder coming up in the air, not able to get it off. But she, again, it's not over for Nicole. I don't want to say that by any stretch of the imagination. She's a fighter. She has spirit. But she's got to really get into the rink, get the jumping mechanics going, and train.
Well, on your left, that's Barbara Rolls-Williams, who is her 9th coach in the last 9 years. That was a change that was made recently, and these can be disastrous marks.
Yes, we're looking at up to 7/10.
And the first set.
Down at 3.6. Up to 4.2. That is really tough for a skater to see that.
And the second set of marks, these for presentation.
And going from 4.9 to 5.4.
Well, a disaster for Nicole Bobek. That puts her in 7th place of the 7 young women who have completed their short programs. Slutskaya, Butirskaya stand 1st and 2nd. Michelle Kwan is 3rd, and we'll be right back. Now from Hungary, 3-time Vienna Cup champion, here is Kristina Zako. Music of Rachmaninoff. This is the Rhapsody on the theme of Paganini.
Triple Lutz falling short of the rotation, almost hitting the boards on the double toe loop in combination. Skaters are usually more aware of their environment that they're skating in, and to get that close to the boards is really unusual. Although we all remember Midori Ito, don't we?
Indeed. Into the camera pit at the Worlds. That's funny, Peter, the memories that we all have of these young competitors in this sport. Nice.
Yes. Good triple toe ollie.
I can't watch Kristina Zako competing without thinking of her performance in the long program in Lillehammer 2 years ago, because Kristina Zako preceded a woman named Tanya Harding on the ice.
Oh.
And it was about the time she was halfway through her long program, and we said, there's something going on with Tanya's boot backstage.
A little bit of sporting history there. Double axel, a little forward on the landing. Judge is looking for a back that's straight up and down, and certainly a nice extension with the free leg. That is the one that's off the ice. Beautiful layback.
Very pleasant. Kristina Zako, the 17-year-old from Budapest, coached by her mom and dad.
She certainly has hung in there.
Michelle Kwan, who is in 3rd place right now, having completed her short program, trailing Slutskaya and Butirskaya, but standing in front of Tanya Kwiatkowski, who is currently 5th, and Nicole Bobek, who had that disastrous short program and is 7th. Kristina Zako, at the age of 17, a veteran of 2 Olympic appearances and 4 World Championships. She's represented Hungary for quite some time.
A nice triple toe ollie right there. Good landing. Smiling face to go with it. I'm just kind of in shock with what has happened in this ladies' short program.
I think that the crowd here, a very knowledgeable crowd, well, thrilled with the fact that the 2 young women from Russia stand 1st and 2nd. I get a sense that the crowd had its energy drained by what happened first with Michelle Kwan and then Nicole Bobek.
Somewhat. And it does send an energy out into the building for both the competitors and the audience.
And to think that Nicole Bobek stood on the podium at the World Championships a year ago and got scores in the 3.8 range is shocking.
That's what I can't get past.
Shocking. Here are the scores, required elements for Christina Zacco.
And they go from 4.6 up to 5.0.
And the second set of marks.
5.0 up to 5.4. Presentation marks coming up. They don't take the deduction usually on the presentation marks, only on the required elements.
16-year-old from Samara in Central Asia. Yelena Ivanova, the world junior champion in 1996.
And that's quite a title to have, because what it means is you have served notice to the international community of figure skating, and this could be a great opportunity for her right here, right now. Double Lutz, double toe, the legs not close enough in the air to get the rotation for the triple. Oh, wow.
Whoops.
That's rare that you see a skater lose their balance like that. Again, she looks like she's going to topple over.
It's more embarrassing than it is harmful, isn't it?
Yeah, those are the kind of things that happen when you learn how to skate, not when you're junior world champion. But then again, competing in a major international competition with the likes of Maria Buterskaya and the rest, it's pretty nerve-wracking, I imagine.
Now this is Yelena Ivanova and Surya Bonaly, who has all the experience in the world, is yet to skate here on our same-day coverage from St. Petersburg, Russia.
Double axel, ooh, she's really thinking about it. Does it, though?
And at the age of 16, she's learned the Bielman spin. Yelena Ivanova, the world junior champion in 1996. One skater remains. Michelle Kwan of the United States has completed her work. She's currently third, getting some last words of advice from Frank Carroll. For Yelena Ivanova.
Yes, taking the deductions on the required elements from 4.8 up to 5.0.
And the second set for presentation.
A little bit better, but she's got a lot of skating to do before she can compete with some of these incredible skaters here.
Well, those marks do put her just behind Michelle Kwan, so she's currently in fourth position. On the ice right now, 3 times a runner-up in the World Championships, 8 times the French national champion. All of this, and she's still only 23 years old. Here is Surya Bonaly.
And if anybody has experience, Surya Bonaly has the most in this competition of all the ladies. Get started here with a double axel, required element. This will tell the story right here. The triple Lutz, double toe loop. Oh, outstanding for her.
Surya's 3 second-place finishes in the World Championships, Peter. Of course, the most memorable, I'm sure, was '94 when she refused to accept the medal on the stand in Japan, feeling that she had been taken by the judges. She's had just a succession of second-place finishes. She finished second in the recent Europeans. So a lot to prove, despite her experience.
Well, guess what? She's proving it right now.
It's not been a particularly good season for Surya Bonaly. Injuries and just not any great finishes, but boy, this is a nice start.
And you come to a competition like this, being experienced the way Surya Bonaly is, you open the door for her, and she knows what to do to get the job done, to nail the elements in the required element section of the short program. And this set the tone for her. The triple Lutz, she's just so athletic. And then doing a nice triple toe loop right after it. Where the ordinary person might fall out of a jump, Surya's able to pull it off because she just is so strong. And now, very light approach into the triple toe loop. Arms a little bit high, somewhat unorthodox, but she is strong. And these marks, I'm sure, are going to be very good.
Surya Bonaly of the current leader, Ilya Kulik, the 18-year-old from Moscow. Ilya Kulik in first place going into the men's final. Same-day coverage tomorrow night on PBS from Centennial Lawn Ice. Fourth there. And Scott's going to be skating to a tango number by Gardell. Boy, he's had a perplexing season.
Unbelievable. Opening triple axel. And that has been part of this season. Turnouts on landings, falls. In the free program, he's usually very good in the short program, then has trouble in the free program. And those weren't huge mistakes. Let's see if he can get it back together here with this triple flip. That's much better. That's where he wants to be in the air. Triple Lutz. Okay. Triple Salchow. Sometimes, Vern, you start off with a few small mistakes. You're able to warm up and improve as the program goes on.
Scott Davis has been coached for a number of years by Kathy Casey. He is from Great Falls, Montana. Followed her to Seattle, then to Colorado Springs. This is such an international sport, but in a very small world. Kathy unable to make the trip here to St. Petersburg, so who's coaching Scott? We mentioned this the other night. Tamara Moskvina, the legendary pairs coach who, with her husband, Igor Moskvin, spends some time in the summers in the Rocky Mountains.
This is big right here. Triple axel again, just falling off the axis that he wanted, which is being perpendicular to the ice. You could really see that. Amazing that he was able to land that again. The severe tilt in the air makes it so difficult to land those jumps because you have to use so much more energy to check out on the landing when they're off in the air like that. And there's there's a double Lutz instead of a triple Lutz. Only a double toe loop, getting tired. You can see the fatigue entering in on these jumps. But the spins, as always, for Scott Davis, outstanding.
Twice a national champion, once an Olympic member, 3 times a member of the U.S. World Team. But in the midst of a perplexing year, as Tamara Moskvina, his temporary coach, his coach du jour here in St. Petersburg, waits for Scott.
Well, the triple axel, you can watch right here. See how tilted that is? It's very easy to see that you can't land a jump when you're that far over in the air. But the spins, they've always been his best item. And the reason they're so good, they're fast and they're very centered. See how he's in one spot right there? He's really able to spin quickly because of that, staying in one place.
Tamara and Scott wait for the first set of marks.
Well, from 5.2 to 5.5. Remember, this is in the short program. There aren't deductions, but in order to get the points, you have to form the difficult...
High aspirations for the next man on the ice. Here is the current leader, 18 years old, from Moscow. Came to St. Petersburg on the overnight train. Ilya Kulik, who had a wonderful performance in the short program.
Did he ever, in that triple axel, triple toe loop combination? What he'll be looking for is to recreate that perfection that he had in the jumps in the short program.
Music from the movie soundtrack, Aladdin.
And we'll look for that very same combination that put him in first place. Triple axel, triple toe loop, only perfect. Wow. Carry through here with a triple flip. Right up into a triple toe loop. He is right on, knows exactly where he should be for these jumps right now. Perfect. Triple Lutz. Vern, I want to let you know, he has just fired off the most difficult jumps in skating without any problem whatsoever.
Well, he's got a couple of rounds left in his chamber. See what he has planned. But of course, Peter, traditionally, Russian men have tired at the end of the free skate, have they not?
True over the past to a degree, but lately we just have this incredible domination, especially at this event here with the Russian men.
see if that does not hold true here for Kulik.
Ah, he's right on.
So far, he has been terrific, and he's trying to make amends for his performance in the recent European Championships in Bulgaria back in January. He finished third. He's a man who won the Europeans a year ago, same year he won the World Junior Championship. Now think about him at the World Championships this year, but also when you cast your eyes forward to Japan in 1998, underline this name, Ilya Kulik.
And he's going to defend his position of first place with just a few more important jumps in the program.
Well, he's 45 seconds from the finish.
And this is really important here. Oh, it's going to be really tough to beat this man.
I think so.
This is something else.
Outstanding.
Good luck, everybody else.
Ilya Kulik told us his mother and dad did not make the trip up from Moscow. They get too nervous. I'll bet they're relaxing watching television right now. We'll be back in St. Petersburg after these messages. To St. Petersburg, the Centennial on Ice, brought to you by the Johnson & Johnson family of companies. Same-day coverage, and you have just seen this 18-year-old light up the crowd in St. Petersburg. 9 triples landed in the free skate. Ilya Kulik.
And 2 triple axles. Hear that in this competition.
Well, here's a young man who will try. He's another of the teenagers representing Russia from St. Petersburg, the World Junior Champion this year, 1996. Here is Alexei Yagudin. Music will be by Offenbach. And the 15-year-old getting ready to take center ice.
Something started here. Triple flip using the right foot to vault off. Actually, that was a triple toe wally. Not the triple flip that he had planned.
It's been kind of an exasperating trip. Not kind of. It's been a very exasperating trip for the American team. Think of Rudy Galindo, who had to go back, our national champion.
And there's another triple axel. Kind of surprising. You might notice he did it in the same spot, but boy, it was a good one.
And then Scott Davis and Dan Hollander had less than perfect free skates earlier tonight. Think about the state of Russian skating, Peter. We've seen Ilya Kulik at 18. Here's 15-year-old Alexei Yagudin. We've yet to see Alexei Urmanov, who's the defending Olympic gold medalist. And he's 5th going into the free skate here.
So far, this the most exciting event by far. Triple loop. I think that there's a lot of competition between all of these men from Russia. They're really driving each other to be the best.
And a much smaller context than for Urmanov and Ilya Kulik, this is an important platform for Alexei Yagudin. He doesn't turn 16 until the middle of March, the 18th to be exact, and will not be on the world team, but important for him to make an impression on these judges.
But right now, he's defending his second place position also, so you definitely can't cut him out of this position. He's got to keep it going right here. Triple Lutz. Solid. Triple axel hop. You've got this quick footwork at the end of the program. You're getting tired. You've done a lot of hard jumps. A few more to go, but he looks strong.
He's all of 15, and he's performing on home ice. His coach, Alexei Mishin, who is also the coach of Alexei Urmanov, most impressive. He won both the short and the long program at the recent World Junior Championships at Brisbane, Australia.
Well, just a great performance for him, and Ilya Kulik started it off. Yagudin followed it up with a very good program, and guess who's on the ice now? You can't see him, but Urmanov is warming up, and I think all of these men are just pushing each other. Look at that jump. Great air position. He'll go right down into the triple toe loop. That was terrific. Here the triple Lutz, 3 times around, and they all seem to establish a certain kind of rhythm before they take off for these jumps. So they don't have to really concentrate about the mechanics because they're so etched in their mind as to what position they should be in when they do them.
And the first set of marks for technical merit for Yagudin.
Not too bad, 5.7 and 5.8, down to 5.5, but we still have some other skaters to go.
Have the second. Here's more from Darren Kagan.
This Centennial and ice competition marks the 100th anniversary of the first World Championships held right here in St. Petersburg. In fact, on this very frozen pond, where people can still skate today. But how could the organizers of that first event imagine that 100 years later, the reigning Olympic champion would be a hometown boy, St. Petersburg's own Alexei Urmanov. The 1994 Olympics in Lillehammer were Urmanov's big moment. At age 20, he pulled off a huge upset. defeating men's singles favorites Victor Petrenko, Brian Boitano, and Kurt Browning to grab the gold medal.
It was so exciting to win the gold medal. I didn't fully appreciate it at the time. It only came later when I realized I had done it.
Armanov also didn't realize that a gold medal can be a mixed blessing.
Basically, the gold medal sometimes too heavy to carry it through the seasons.
You have to skate always pretty good. All the world's looking for you, and all the world waiting from you something good, something great, and it's very difficult.
And it has been a tough 2 years. Since winning Olympic gold, Armanov placed 4th at the last 2 World Championships.
His most dangerous enemy of him is himself.
Armanov's goal is to once again climb to the top of the skating world. And a step towards that is the Centennial on Ice competition, taking place here in his hometown of St. Petersburg. During a time when many Russian skaters have moved to the United States, Armanov has chosen to stay here and train. He simply loves this city.
Yeah. Why do you like it?
So I like it. The water, every building here, in this side and that side. So it's history of our town.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's
The river is frozen.
It's no matter.
It doesn't matter? You still love it.
Yeah.
Life is harder here for a skater than it is in the U.S., but Armanov's coach thinks that the Spartan conditions make his student hungrier to chase another gold medal.
The hunting dog with a full stomach never will run fast. Understand?
And Alexei Armanov is picking up the pace in the run for more gold.
Now, in a difficult spot. I mean, here's a guy who stood atop the podium in Lillehammer in 1994, and yet after the performances we've seen from Kulik and Yagudin, with Pashkevich yet to come, it's going to be tough for him.
It's really pretty amazing when you think that this man may have motivated those men to skate as well as they have in past years. Now he's got to defend his position of Olympic champion, but he's got an uphill battle. And he answers with a triple axel, triple toe loop. Right on. problem there, the double axel. The long program, no deduction, but the harder the jumps, the more points you get, and that's not what he was looking for. Triple loop, right back on.
Just wonder, though, Peter, how much ground he can make up after those performances by Kulik and Yagudin.
Right, to pull from 5th into the medals. One thing that Ermanov does so well, though, is interpret the music. Triple toe loop, double loop. He has a lot of good expression when he skates, so judges will take that into consideration, especially on the second mark. Triple Salchow.
Skating to the music of Kalman, the princess of the circus, the 1994 Olympic gold medalist in his hometown, Alexei Ermanov. But trying to climb from 5th onto the podium, that's as much emotion as I've seen Ermanov show in years. Not that cold after all, is it? Back with his scores right after this.
Now here's the triple axel, good air position, tight in the air, and then stepping right up again into that triple toe loop. He needs that to add up the points.
Who trained in Newark, Delaware. Krylova and Ovsyannikov.
And we are in for a real treat because they are going to perform to authentic Russian folk music. And they'll do it so well because of expression, the timing, quick steps, and a lot of speed. This is hard. Very quick steps, changes of position. And the whole time you have to stay in control of every single step. That is terrific. dramatic repetition right there, repeating one lift and doing it again right away.
Angelika Krylova, Oleg Ovsyannikov from Moscow. They've been skating together since 1994. She actually was on the podium at the World Championships in 1993 in Prague, Czechoslovakia, with a former partner, Vladimir Fyodorov, who competed here earlier with his new partner.
Those quick steps 3 minutes into the program become really difficult. You've got to maintain the speed and not show any strange jerky motions in the skating, and smile the whole time you're doing it. I love that.
And he gets a predictably warm response from the audience in St. Petersburg.
Wow. A lot of excitement, and how appropriate to see a dance like that here in St. Petersburg.
And here's living proof that there is room for the above average in height in this sport. Angelika's 5'8", he's 6'3". That's fairly tall for a skater.
Yes, it is, but they are just lovely to watch, and I think a very well-balanced pair. They suit each other so well. Now you can see the quick change of positions that go across the ice. Right together. Staying close, always in contact. And at the very end of the program, a little dance lift.
And the scores for technical merit. 5.7s.
Yeah, right up to 5.7. All very consistent marks. And their artistic impression up to 5.9, and I totally agree with that.
They are in first place, but the world and Olympic champions are next. We'll be right back. And Oksana Grinchuk.
And the costumes continue to be very colorful. Well, I don't know where Oksana Grinchuk gets all of her energy from, but she will not stop until the end of this program. This is incredible. It's just a sprint. Look at the quick turns right here. This is all very difficult. Changes of position.
Kind of fun, isn't it, Peter? We saw them working on this routine on the rink at the University of Delaware. Now to see it put into play here in St. Petersburg.
Absolutely. They just have really mastered the steps that are in this program, and it takes so long to feel comfortable with these lifts. Very nice right there. And it's all about originality, Vern. You just can't show up to these competitions without having new footwork, new lifts, and all the expression and timing that they have throughout this competition. Here we go. Last minute of the program. This is the hardest part because these steps become really tough in that your legs are tired and one little slip and it's devastating. Woo!
Oksana Grichuk, Yevgeny Platov. And a knowledgeable crowd here at the Sports and Concert Complex in St. Petersburg.
Nice performance. I remember when they were putting this free dance together, watching them, they got to one point of the program, had a slip and fell and missed about 20 seconds of the program. At any time, if they fall, it really can ruin the entire program, but they did that very well here. Now the quick changes of position, and then right here he'll step right over her, and that takes time to develop all of that. They have to even do that off the ice before they put it on the ice. And the quick step sequence, very nice.
And there's her dog, Vanya. She brought the Cocker Spaniel from Newark, Delaware. And the technical merit scores.
All very solid marks. That reflects all of the difficult steps and artistic impression, all 5 9s.
Vanya got to keep her frequent flyer miles. We'll be back right after this. Here, Irina Romanova and Igor Yeroshenko.
all the steps much more difficult when holding on to your partner. When you're by yourself skating, it's easier to do the steps. When you bring someone else into it and get very close together on the ice, that's when it is hard to do.
As we mentioned, Irina Romanova, Igor Yeroshenko train in Delaware with Natalia Linchuk and Adi Karpanasov. How unusual to have these three teams from the former Soviet Union dancing in the United States. Like so many other Eastern European dance teams, these two married. They've been married since 1992.
Well, that performance didn't get me as excited as some of the other free dances that I saw. In fact, I preferred Puncelet and Swallow. And right now, that's not my decision because the judges certainly will decide that. But I thought Jared and Elizabeth had more excitement within their performance.
Well, Romanova and Yeroshenko will wait for the reaction of the 7 judges.
And you can just see the steps, holding on to the partner, much harder than when by yourself, because more chance of a trip.
There's Natalia Linchuk. And the first set of marks.
And they go from 5.4 up to 5.6. So
now we'll check the second marks and see if that will keep them in 3rd place.
Oh, these are pretty strong here. The artistic impression.
And those marks are sufficient to keep them in front of Elizabeth Puncelet and Jared Swallow of the United States. Alexei Grichuk and Yevgeny Platov get the first place ordinals from all 7 judges, and they win the championship in Centennial on ice. Krylova and Ovsyannikov finish 2nd. Romanova and Yeroshenko are 3rd. A nice showing for the American champions. Elizabeth Puncelet and Jared Swallow, they wind up in 4th. And the rest of the list is completed here and the Centennial on ice in St. Petersburg. The champions, Yevgeny Platov, Oksana Grichuk, we'll chat with them both when we return right after this. On ice, here is Nicole Bobak, who had to withdraw from the American Championships in San Jose last month, with an injury, Peter, and came to St. Petersburg, what she described as her World Championships, and had a very troubled short program.
Well, it was that for sure, because she fell on every jump in the short program. Certainly not the way she wanted to start the competition.
Well, here's her long program, and she skates to the music of Evita.
Right now, she's got to put behind her all the falls she had in the short program and try to create some momentum with these spectacular jumps. The first one, triple Lutz, a double Lutz single toe loop. It's continuing. Only a double Salchow. She's off to a very poor start with the jumps. Unfortunate.
This must be a terribly difficult endeavor for Nicole Bobek. She was third in the world a year ago, and yet having fallen on every jump of the short program, she received scores as low as 3.8.
And really dropping the right side on that attempt at the triple flip. Not the same young lady we saw at the World Championships last year.
She stood third after the short program in San Jose in January. Came out to warm up for the long program and withdrew with an injury. She also said she had some mood problems. I think psychologically she is a place far removed from where she is physically right now.
I just don't think the confidence, the conditioning that's required to be in shape for these long programs is there. Again, a double Salchow. These are jumps that she should be tripling. She's doing what a novice lady would do in competition or below that. It's very sad to see. Oh, dear.
Well, Nicole Bobek came a long, long way to participate in the Centennial on ice, and the trip, unfortunately, became a nightmare.
This is very difficult for her. And the jumps in the program just never came together. She's capable of doing so much more than what we just saw. And I know that she has to be wondering, what am I going to do in skating from here on in?
That's her coach, Barbara Rolls-Williams. And we wait for the scores. Third in the world. Less than a year ago. On the right, as you look at it, is her new choreographer, Irina Yelchin. Barbara Rolls-Williams on the left.
That's interesting. She's apologizing to people. That tells you she knows these scores are going to be horrible.
And the first set, Peter.
Well, this is just got to be the biggest shock in a skater's life, to be third at a World Championships and then go to this just months later.
Silver medalist in the recent national championships, but a tough short program as well. Here is Tonya Kwiatkowski from Cleveland. Music by John Tesh, called Day One.
Now for Tanya, the story may be a little different than Nicole. She has been training. She works very hard, not distracted by some of the tours that have taken place before this competition. Her opening, solid start. Triple flip, no. Triple toe ollie, a very strange timing on the takeoff. The rhythm was not in place on that jump. That's why she had trouble with it. It wasn't a smooth, continuous flow. Triple flip, double toe loop, able to pull that off, but once you start leading on those jumps, it's so difficult to perform a landing without a mistake. It takes a lot more effort to correct the position in the air when you're off.
Tanya really wanted to use this event as a warm-up for the World Championships in Edmonton. She will be a member, of course, of the world team, and she's got rather unpleasant memories of her last appearance.
Triple loop, nicely done. You can see the difference, at least in her attack of the triple jumps compared to Nicole.
She was a member of the world team in 1994 and did not make it out of the qualifying group, but that still stings, the memory of it, and I know she wants to do much better in Canada next month. She is not without a sense of humor about herself, Peter. She just turned 25. So much was made of that by the American media at the recent championships. She walked into the press conference after her silver medal with a walker.
Double axel. This performance not at the level that she skated at the national championships, but
she is smiling.
Yes.
Tanya Kwiatkowski completes her long program before the residents of St. Petersburg and a few residents of the United States who've made the long trip over here.
Yeah, she has such a terrific attitude, and she's so liked and friendly with all of the team here, with Carol Heiss right there, Olympic champion. Vern, she doesn't age, Carol Heiss.
No. No, no, no. 1960 Olympic gold medalist.
Here, the triple flip. You can just see the landing never occurred because of the position in the air. The problem usually happens before the landing on the takeoff, making it difficult to land the jumps. The layback spin, beautiful position, centered right in one spot on the ice. Nicely done.
First set of marks. These for technical merit.
And they go from 5-1 to 5-3. We're going to see marks considerably higher as the competition goes on when we get up to Slutskaya, who is leading the competition right now. And the presentation, 5-1 up to 5-6.
Michelle Kwan, Surya Bonaly, yet to compete. Michelle Kwan hoping to medal. Standing in fourth, hoping for a first-place finish. It is mathematically possible. She is the American champion and one of the favorites for the world title when they compete next month. Let's spend a little more time with her. Since the age of 5, Michelle Kwan's playground has always been the ice. Whether an arena is empty or full doesn't matter. She's right at home. Those skates will tell the story of a young girl growing up in Torrance, California. While other girls spoke of boys or cruised the malls, Michelle was always on those skates. At 15 today, Michelle would be the first to say she wouldn't change a thing. How many teenagers can say they brought a crowd to their feet at the U.S. Olympic Festival in 1993 at the experienced age of 13? Many were saying that day in San Antonio, this girl can skate. So it was somehow fitting at this year's Nationals that Michelle found her way to the winner's circle. And she's still smiling just thinking of that moment.
I don't think it'll ever soak into me. I'm still very happy about it and very, I don't know, I'm still like floating in the air. This was my first big title, and I still remember every second throughout my program what I was thinking, and before jump or after a spin or anything, I remember exactly. If I go and, you know, win the world championships and the Olympic championships, what am I going to become? I'm not going to become a monster or anything. I'm just going to be the same old me.
Who really is that same old me? Well, it's a young woman with determination in her veins and yet a friendly smile for everyone. When Michelle isn't competing, you can find her on tour with the Tom Collins Group, or perhaps skating with the likes of Elvis Stoiko throughout Canada. You just have to look for where the ice and the music are found.
I think it's great for me because I've idolized like so many skaters, including Brian Boitano, and now here I am touring with him, and we're also good friends, and sometimes I look, I'm like sitting next to the Brian Boitano, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, what am I doing here? Sometimes I think I'm, you know, dreaming, and I pinch myself and wondering where I am and things like that. There's so many emotions when you're skating out there, and especially when the crowd's very, like, supportive and very, you know, loud, and they clap really loud. It feels like you're a bird, just like soaring through the air, and you're flying around the ice and things like, it's things like that that you can't say. You just gotta do it. I don't know what it is about skating that I love so much, but it's just the feeling that you do when you glide, and you keep on gliding. You can, you know, glide all the way to the middle of the ocean. I don't know, it's very unique. Definitely the things I want to do is, you know, make my dream come true and go to the Olympics and the World Championships.
Well, thus far, at least, Peter, she seems to be handling all of the demands of her role as a national champion well.
I would say that for sure, because she has in place a very good training schedule, good coaching, and really good management thus far in her Olympic-eligible career. And that's what it's all about, being able to balance all the exhibitions, all of the competitions, and put it all together and still win.
She'll skate her long program when we return to St. Petersburg after these messages.
International recognition from the judges.
And a final word of advice for Michelle Kwan from Frank Carroll, one of the more widely respected coaches in the sport. And now Michelle, and Peter, she really was struggling through the warm-up.
She was struggling. She was coughing, not with her jumps, just, again, I think it's going to come down to the endurance that she needs to get through this difficult, long program.
And in her long program, she represents Salome.
One of the hardest combinations in her program, the triple Lutz, double toe loop.
And it was when she missed that combination in the short program that her problems began, so that's a nice sign.
Good way for her to start. Now the triple flip, only a double, the left leg coming up high around the right leg, making it difficult to rotate. Struggling a little there on the double axel.
She's reached the midway point of her program. This music by Richard Strauss.
Triple loop, only a double. Some of the jumps that she relies on to keep her up in the standings, not coming together, but right there, a triple Salchow, that was better. Second triple Lutz, right in the bank. That was beautiful.
That'll help.
Oh boy, falling off her axis right there, just getting through.
Well, she labored and she's gasping for breath a little bit. Clean.
Well, I think she's just relieved to get through this competition. It's so difficult to come to a competition like this, being sick with a respiratory problem, but she has managed to do that, but not the best performance for her.
And we'll get Michelle Kwan's scores. right after this. Side here is the United States national champion, Michelle Kwan. She has not seen much of St. Petersburg. Trust me. She spent time trying to get sleep in the hotel.
Yes, and her coach sitting there saying, it's okay, it's over, it's over. A lot of pressure on this young lady. The triple Salchow, this was okay. That's what we're used to seeing from Michelle Kwan. However, falling short on some of the other jumps.
Yeah, the absence of the triples might prove costly.
Well, unfortunately in ladies figure skating, that's what it comes down to, combining the entire package with triple jumps.
7 judges, and here are the first set of marks.
And they range from 5'4" to 5'7". Remember, other skaters to go yet, so this is not a good indication for her to pull up in the standings. But then again, from 5'6" up to 5'8", so she's clearly out in front at this point.
But Surya, Bonaly, and the 2 young Russian women, Slutskaya, Butirskaya. Yet Kwan does move into first place for the moment, but a lot of talent remains, and among the talented skaters on the ice right now, here is Surya Bonaly. Now, she skated well in the short program, Peter, but she's not had a really terrific season thus far.
No, she has not had a terrific season at this point, but what you always have to watch out for with Surya Bonaly is the fact that she is a fierce competitor, and she's so athletic. She is able to really sometimes dig down deep and get these jumps off without any problems.
We are in the hall of Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky, and this is his music, Swan Lake.
Just stepping up into a double axel, and another one right after it. But these are the jumps that make the difference. The triple Lutz, oh, missing that. Flipping out, not a fall, but judges looking for a nice landing without a jerky motion like that. Triple loop. Ooh. There's the strength factor. Triple toe ollie, hop, double Salchow. She was trying for a triple Salchow, only able to do a double though. Strange entrance into the jumps, a very unorthodox approach, making it difficult to do when you don't have an edge going in. Just skating in straight like that, tough to do. Almost at a standstill, though, on the landing. See, this is the problem. When she does the jump, she doesn't have a lot of speed and flow out of them.
In third place going into the long program, trying to maintain her position ahead of Michelle Kwan and trying to surpass Slutskaya, Butirskaya.
Now, for example, right there, when she skated into that jump, there was no edge going in, and that means by getting on an inside or an outside edge, she was just going straight in. Very difficult to do like that. think of this. She was second in the world last year.
And the year before that, and the year before that.
Well,
now this will be an interesting assessment by this panel of judges now.
Well, it is interesting because you talk about the second place for her, Surya, at the World Championships, and Nicole's third. What's happened to these ladies? Well, maybe it's the touring that they do leading up to these championships, the tours, the exhibitions. Maybe they're not staying in the rink and training, running through their programs the way they should be. And people like Slutskaya, who's winning this competition, well, she's buried in the skating rink training. Here, the triple loop. Able to pull it off with strength. Now, this is interesting because look how she's just skating straight in, no edge. That makes it so hard to do the jump because she has no position on the takeoff. And then you can see the result on the landing. You have to have edges skating into the jumps.
Well, I find it interesting that having gone through a plethora of coaches, Suzanne Bonaly is now listed as Surya's coach. That's her adoptive mother. But camera shy, she chooses not to join her daughter in what we all refer to as the kiss and cry area. The scores for technical merit.
Yeah, they go from 5-5 to 5-7. The question is, will Michelle Kwan pull up over Surya Bonaly? And we'll find out the next marks.
And here they are. Presentation.
And they go from 5-4 up to 5.7.
And Michelle Kwan garners 5 of the first place ordinals that have been given thus far to 2 for Bonaly. So she moves in front of Surya Bonaly for the moment. Back in St. Petersburg after these messages. Yelena Ivanova. She's chosen to skate to a medley of Spanish tunes. The World Junior Champion. An event she won in Brisbane, Australia back in December, and standing in 5th place after the short program.
Double toe loop. A very tentative triple loop. Really thinking about it before she jumped. That could be dangerous.
She kind of nursed her way into that one.
Determination right there.
Yelena Ivanova skating now as the world junior champion, and as we come into the long program, just a reminder, there was a tie for first place between Irina Slutskaya, Maria Butirskaya, both yet to skate. Michelle Kwan has moved past Surya Bonaly after completing the long program.
Really skating into the jumps with a lot of concentration. She's able to do them, but the flow isn't there. Kind of a strange lurch when she skates hunched over, and a broken, what we call in skating, stroke. That is when she skates, it's not a smooth gliding motion. You want to keep the upper body very still and let the lower body do all the work, therefore making skating look easy. And I don't quite see that here with her performance.
Yelena Ivanova from Samara in Russia, and a well-clad crowd here on this Sunday in February. It's a little nippy outside.
Oh, it was freezing when we came in. And
here's Irina Slutskaya, who is also... And let's go back and take a look at Ivanova's performance.
well, this is what I'm referring to. See how her body kind of moves around, and it's really not attractive when she skates. She wants to try to hold her back up more and let the lower body do all the work. Again, you can really see the shoulders lurching around. That's something that she should work on. It's really a basic part of the skating, but very important.
Is that a matter of coaching?
Yes, technique, foundation in your skating when you're learning how to skate. You want to break those habits.
Well, we wait for the first set of marks now for Ivanova. Sometimes a lady needs a hug.
You bet.
Technical merit marks and the presentation marks. That puts her behind Kwan and Bonaly. Will be same-day coverage of the Centennial on ice from the Sports and Concert Complex in St. Petersburg, Russia. And one of the co-leaders getting ready for her long program now, the current European champion. She won that title in Sofia, Bulgaria back in January. Here is Irina Slutskaya. Peter, I know you really like her skating.
Well, I do. What I really think is exceptional about her is the focus that she has when she skates. She doesn't get distracted. She's all business on the ice.
Remember when we first became aware of Oksana Bayul and she won the World Championship in Prague and she skated to a bunch of American musicals? Well, guess what? Here we are again.
Triple Lutz. Oh, fantastic double toe loop. Nice speed skating into these jumps. Triple Salchow, double loop. double flip. She wanted the triple. A little break in the concentration there.
It's always enjoyable to me. We get so used to the American skaters, the Canadian skaters in North America. It's always fun to come overseas and to be introduced to women like Irina Slutskaya. I think you think of her as a contender for the World Championship, but beyond that, think of the Olympics in Japan, and she's going to be a contender with Michelle Kwan, I would think.
What a great proving ground this is for her. Triple flip? No. Bending over a little bit on the landing.
Tell you, the scoring for this ladies' championship could be really fascinating.
This is important. Triple loop. Oh, that was very nice. And think about it. You're 16 years old. You're at a big international competition, and you're in front of, at this point, the silver medalist, the bronze medalist, and someone who placed 4th at the World Championships last year. A lot of pressure for her. Triple toe loop, double toe loop. Triple Salchow. Nice spin combination. That was pretty good.
Irina Slutskaya, co-leader, entering the long program. She shares that lead with Maria Butirskaya. Back with Irina scores and the skate of Maria Butirskaya after these messages. Back to the Sports and Concert Complex. Same-day coverage in St. Petersburg here on a Sunday in the middle of a Russian winter. And Irina Slutskaya, the first set of scores, Peter.
Very strong. These are good marks for her. She did not skate her best. A couple of little mistakes. So that hurt a little bit, but the presentation score is very good. She's clearly out in front at this point.
Matter of fact, she receives the first place ordinal from all 7 of the judges thus far.
And look at the focus, the concentration in the face. I love it. Vaulting right up into the air, good position, then reaching down for the double toe loop. That's the focus that you need on these jumps. And the spin combination, very strong. Good position here on the layback. Watch her grab her right foot and pull it right up. That requires some flexibility.
So she moves into first place. And next on the ice, the young lady who... Maria Butirskaya, who, like Irina Slutskaya, is from Moscow. And she'll skate to Malagueña.
She is tied, as we've said, for the lead with Slutskaya. So the first jump, triple flip.
strong. This is tough. Triple Lutz really pulling it off. Now this is usually one of her best jumps, the triple loop. Look at how easy that was. That is such a hard jump, and she just knocks it off like it's nothing. What I love about her skating, Vern, is just the intensity that she has in the facial expressions. Triple Salchow, almost losing it right there, but very determined to hang on to the landings.
Big smile after she completed that jump. She's a young woman who won the national championship in 1992 and then kind of disappeared. She did finish third at the Europeans. Oh dear. She was really on a roll till then.
That took me off guard.
And one wonders if that might not be the critical mistake.
And it was a pretty hard fall, so let's see if she can get it back on the next jump. No. A double loop, double toe loop, turning out on the landing. That fall obviously affecting her mental state. Triple toe loop, no, turning out. A very small double Salchow after that.
And now it might become a matter of whether she can stay in front of Michelle Kwan.
Right, Michelle Kwan is definitely in the equation once again, for sure. That wasn't her best.
No, she was sailing along on a very placid sea, and all of a sudden the fall obviously took a lot out of her.
Yeah, that really was a hard fall, too. She is a little bit disgusted, I think, as far as that's concerned. You're skating along and everything's going well, and then bang, down you go. And it disrupts the flow of the program, but she had some good jumps in the program also.
Maria Butirskaya. And there's some...
This is so unfortunate, the double loop that she does usually so well in triple. She does a double combination, and that was after the fall that she had. So that coming into play. And moving very slowly off the ice. This is kind of unusual, almost at a standstill.
we wait, as she does, for the first set of scores.
Well,
and now the first set of scores, technical merit for Maria Buterskaya.
And they go from 5-5 up to 5-7. And the presentation scores a little bit higher, 5-7 to 5-8, but they would have been much higher. There's a tenth or so if she had done the jumps and not had that fall.
Thanks, Vern. Our champion, Irina, just told me in English that she is ready. Other than that, she's going to use a translator to talk with us. Irina, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's particularly exciting to win in front of a Russian audience.
Как вы считаете, наверное, особенно приятно выиграть перед эти соревнования перед российскими зрителями?
Да, конечно, турнир очень хорошая публика.
Yes, of course, this championship has been very good and the audience is fantastic.
And this has been some great success for you. First the European Championship, now here. Are you looking forward to the World Championships in Canada?
До сих пор вы с успехом выступали и на европейском чемпионате, и здесь. И, наверное, вы с нетерпением ожидаете своего выступления на чемпионате мира.
Да, конечно, я очень хотела туда попасть в этом году, так как у нас есть две девочки. Очень хотела и вообще мечтала когда-то в детстве выступать на крупных соревнованиях.
Well, of course, I was dreaming to take part in the World Championships. Actually, there are two of us who are about equal, you know, in our abilities. But I'm looking forward, really, to the World Championship.
Well, Irina, good luck at Worlds, and congratulations today.
Thank you very much.
Well, there are three lovely ladies there, Darren Kagan, Irina Slutskaya, and our translator, Nadia Barris, and our thanks to her. Irina Slutskaya wins the championship of the Centennial on ice. National champion. Here is Michelle Kwan from Torrance, California. Sometimes you forget she's still only 15. Michelle Kwan. Coming later, we had a role reversal. They're both swans. This is from Swan Lake, Shishkova, and Naval.
Have you seen this particular ballet, Vern?
Yes, I have, and I saw it, as a matter of fact, a few years ago at the Kirov. It didn't look like this.
Not quite like this. Well, after all, I did say how much ballet influences pairs figure skating in Russia, and this is certainly to the point.
Yeah, but he does not quite look like Baryshnikov on ice.
Not the most attractive shot I've ever seen. Oh, my gosh.
Oh. Reminds me of a piece I saw once called Death on Ice.
Yeah.
Yevgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov. Pairs champion, Centennial on ice. That was fun. 5 years old, Konstantin Menshov.
Has to be inspired by some of the great performances that we saw in the men's event. In particular, Ilya Kulik.
Well, give him another 6 years, huh?
Maybe less than that.
Yes. The Russian national junior champion. Konstantin Menshov, 12-year-old Russian national junior champion.
Pretty amazing that he's that advanced at 12 years old. Some pretty good skills there.
From a 12-year-old to an 18-year-old, here is the men's champion, Centennial on ice, Ilya Kulik.
And if he keeps the skating up in the competitions in the future that he put on the ice here, This man is going to be a contender for the World Championships, not even to mention the Olympic Games in '98. Watch the height. Incorporate a great move like that. I thought it was a mistake. He went right into the push-ups.
I did too.
Had me fooled.
Ilya Kulik. Men's champion, Centennial on ice.
She skated so well throughout, kept herself composed, and competed so well. You know, it's difficult to put your finger on just what makes this young lady so terrific, but I think it's just such a fresh, young look that she has when she's on the ice. Very pleasing to watch. Well, Vern, watch out, ladies of figure skating. This 16-year-old has arrived, and I think she's going to be around for a long time.